if I simply have to put it together, it's like, let's say for 20 years it was very much that people were working with the technology or even for the technology. Now the technology is really working for us. And that went into different stages. So a very important step was of course HANA as the platform. And especially on the ERP side, it brought together the analytical view and the operational view. Then all the line of business applications like CX, so we offered the best of suite. And of course, the whole movement to the cloud. Yeah? Going to a cloud operating model, have much faster the innovation at your hands, so don't do big upgrades, but have incremental changes and use the advantage of the new functions of the application. And now, of course, we are in the age of artificial intelligence, especially generative AI. So technology is actually creating novel input based upon very simple prompts, and that will absolutely also change the application. And as you know, SAP focus on the business side of things, so what we call business AI embedded into our applications. So helping with the digital transformation is first of all start with the as-is. Not every customer is the same. They don't always have the same history, so there's a big difference between one and the other customer. So we normally always start with the as-is situation. And also therefore we use our software like Signavio with process insights to get a good view on how our customer is doing. So we make actually a sort of X-ray office organization. And Signavio can also help to pave the way for the digital transformation. So it gives very concrete recommendations on where to find the business value in moving ahead. Yeah, so there's not one SAP customer. So we deliver a very big range of customers. So it can be very large companies, very big corporates. It can also be very small companies. So we're not focusing just on one of them, we do them all. So of course we have customers who are working with SAP for over 3-4 decades. And that's a complete different as-is situation than the customer, what we call a net new name customer. So a customer that didn't use SAP so far. Yeah. So the last category will probably start with a greenfield implementation, and the customers who have implemented SAP for over the last 3-4 decades. Of course, that's very important to understand where they are and how we bring them into the cloud. It's actually very easy to understand because it always goes in two directions. One direction is to use technology to standardize, be more efficient, lower the cost, and be competitive because you have everything under control, so to say. The other side of the medal is differentiation. So you use the technology for new business models. You use the technology to give your customers a completely different experience. You use technology embedded in the products or service you deliver to your customer, and that's a complete different side. But it's always on those two levels. So it's whether it's reducing costs, being more efficient. Other side, differentiate yourself and create new business models. Yeah, so also for our region counts is Middle and Eastern Europe. So it's the DACH region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Eastern Europe. And of course, per country, you have differences. Like in Germany, of course, we have smaller companies and very large corporates in one country. For example, Austria, you have much more mid-market companies. But actually, the problems we have to solve there are quite similar. So also that goes back to, can we standardize or can we differentiate? And that's the reason why we always start with the as-is situation. So it's not about saying, okay, this is a typical Serbian customer whatsoever, but it's to really understand that customer in Serbia, understand where they are, understand where the business value lies, and not trying to generalize for a whole country or a whole region. Yeah, so it's very important for SAP to stay close at our customers. So they have a lot of influence on our roadmap, so what we develop. They have a lot of influence on testing applications in an alpha or beta phase. You have different panels. So, for example, panels on industry level, where we bring together customers from a specific industry, and they have conversations with our product development to discuss where the new versions go to. So it's quite diverse. We also have now a lot of stuff, for example, on B2B, that customers can test and train with their own data and give feedback to us before we make it general available. So we're always striving for very close cooperation with our customers to make sure that everything that we put on the roadmap is relevant for them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, at least technology is creating a lot of output. And what I just showed in the keynote is that with a very simple prompt, we can make very specific pictures, we can compose music, we can generate all kinds of business simulations. So that will change for sure, especially based upon the simple way how we can prompt. So it's a very simple conversation or dialogue with technology, and the output is actually very comprehensive. So that will fundamentally change how we work with applications and will certainly make our business much more efficient and intelligent. We deployed a lot of artificial intelligence based upon machine learning, so supervised learning. It's actually, you see it in any application. So for example, in Concur, you can just make a photograph of your hotel bill and it will recognize automatically, for example, the tax rate or the room rate or whatsoever, and put it automatically in your expense report. That's a typical example of machine learning, supervised learning based upon labeled data. Now, of course, we are running into the generative AI era, and that means we use self-supervised learning. So data doesn't have to be labeled anymore. So as we can see, for example, in large language models, that we train those models based upon everything available on the internet. And that's a big change. So to summarize, we have a lot of use cases implemented in our software based upon machine learning, and we have over 130 of those scenarios available for our customers. And we are now creating new use cases based upon generative AI. So generating new content. Think about generating a product description based upon a simple input prompt for your product catalog, for example. There are a lot of examples over there.